Very quickly, Confluent really has been built on the massive heritage of Apache Kafka and Apache Flink. These are two very famous as well as like highly contributed projects, and Confluent has been able to like productionize them, get them to build a proper data streaming ecosystem. We are able to basically help our customers stream, connect, process, and govern their data, starting this whole virtuous cycle of setting the data in motion. A lot of scale, multiple different clouds. Over the last 10 years, I believe we have honed the skill. As you can say, we have multiple different verticals, a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and as the talk is all about, if you want to get from an application to a product to a matured ecosystem, we need to be able to build all of the enterprise-grade features. So that's what Confluent has been working on. To start with, I'm going to touch on how data is gold in this entire AI rush, how streaming is going to accelerate this agentic AI ecosystem, and then we'll build like a small, I'll demonstrate it. It's a slideware, but a demo of leveraging most of this best-in-breed technology to have your agentic AI workflows being built. So to start with, in this day and age, data is truly fueling the AI businesses. You can see that different verticals, you take finance, customer success, marketing, obviously software development, large-scale ecosystems, data is what is differentiating various different AI ecosystems and what. We are entering into this third phase now. We started the world with a lot of custom-built models, custom AML. Then we had this massive inflection point with RAG. Obviously, everyone got a touch of that. And slowly, we're getting into the agentic AI ecosystem. This is where, what do you mean by agentic AI? Basically, AI is able to take actions on your behalf, think through, process, understand, and then act on it. And the way to get that is through effective, good, well-curated data. That's going to be where the key of the moat is going to be. You have heard this many times. Agents are the new apps. This has been well popularized by multiple different strong celebrities in the Bay Area now, in the Silicon Valley. What we would like to add is fast, relevant, and real-time data is what is going to make this golden. I specifically want to talk about the relevant because this is where your data is well curated, structured, governed, has the right policies, has the right kind of IAM roles, and so on. As AI gets more and more into the enterprises, this is what is going to be the key differentiator. This is no more like a small toy project or a mom and pop shop. This is actually getting agentic AI into the large-scale industries and enterprises. Agents are going to be a lot more on the right-hand side, which means they have the agency, they can make decisions, and they are completely autonomous, which means the way you can actually control, mutate, and train them is through effectively context-based data. Now, agents just don't work on one ecosystem. Very quickly, it's going to be an extremely complex world. Agents need data from external systems, from internal databases, from logs, from tables, or from other agents. Now, if you go into an enterprise and try to have your agentic applications or this entire ecosystem work effectively, you will find it very quickly that the data in a certain enterprise is very hard to get. It's a lot of data, huge complexity, and there is no easy way to mine this effectively to make sure your agents are smart. Why is that happening? Traditionally, data lies in two different entities. There's an operational data estate. Think about your source of records, your databases, your simple logs, or on the right-hand side, the analytical estate. This is the post-action, after-fact review, your analysis engines, your reporting engines. Now, to make sense of all of this, it's a quadratic or an exponential explosion of point-to-point connections to make sense. We have this operational estate and the analytical estate trying to connect to each other to make sense of all the data coming together so that could be effectively used. Context-based, relevant, role-based, secured, all of that. Unfortunately, it's a giant mess, and to add to it, if we don't think through the agentic AI architectures effectively, we're going to be building on top of this giant mess. If we end up building our agentic AI applications on this mess, they're not going to be very effective. They're not going to be super developer friendly to be productive, and scaling them is going to be extremely challenging. Now, those of you who have known to build systems and have seen architectures evolve, any type of challenge at the lower layers means the layers on top, built on top, become exponentially more challenging. Now, agents are going faster. As I said, we are into this third wave of innovation, and agents are actually taking it on slowly, but they are going to accelerate very quickly. And multi-agent ecosystems are going to be a norm. Agents are not there just as a one-off flurry of an app to work with. It's an ecosystem, and they're always going to be working together in tandem. There are these 4 patterns that were published. These are design patterns for future agentic applications. And you have the orchestrator-based model, the hierarchical model, the market-based, and so on. Why am I saying all of this? Because it's very true now. We are entering into a world where, again, agentic AIs are going to be right there. That's the norm. The complexity is not getting simpler. And the data, the critical data that they need, is not easy to harness. We are going to be in this world where these complexities growing with time, and the interdependencies are going to be super tight to navigate. Now, if you squint at it, this is not a net new problem. We as an industry have dealt with something like this when the whole microservices explosion happened, maybe in the last decade. We knew this. We saw the point-to-point communications not being able to scale. We saw the whole catalog and management of services becoming harder and harder. And we solved it. In most cases, we solved it by thinking about an event broker or an event-based model. Why? Instead of building this, again, exponential or quadratic point-to-point communications, we brought in these event messaging models to be cohesive, single highway to go from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Or, most importantly, build feedback loops that are required to make these services be effective. Let's take that as a paradigm, as a model, and then apply the same thing to our agentic AI models. We believe the future of how these models are going to be built are completely going to be event-driven, because that's the only way you can scale them, decouple them, simplify them, and keep continuing to build and innovate on top. This is where some of the top technologies like Kafka or Flink come into picture. It's well known Apache Kafka can actually help you simplify a lot of these communication boundaries and limitations we have. And to add to it, Flink can help you be real time when it comes to querying, read or write or change or map or shuffle or do all those operations. This is where we believe data streaming is the new paradigm on which this entire agentic AI ecosystem is going to be built on. Now, I keep coming back and saying that it's not just about building simple applications, but truly being enterprise grade. So it's not just about ensuring you can have a streaming platform that just helps you stream, but you need to be able to connect to various different ecosystems. So that interconnectedness is super critical. As you go and sell into enterprises, as you go and build into up the vertical, you need the right governance in place. Because without governance, there is really not a serious business that would like to have AI being introduced. And then you want to have the ability to process. Add the process in real time, on the spot, or process and offload and processes outside of the systems. So this is where an entire ecosystem of what Confluent is building comes into the picture. It's an end-to-end data streaming platform that allows you to connect to multiple different ecosystems, stream your data at near real time, extremely effective, cost-efficient way, govern it with the right set of policies, structures, schemas, and at the same time, have a lot of control that developers want as well as the enterprises want. As you can see, the end result is you can get a lot of data, pass through the system, and build what we call as data products. Because if you're building AI on top or leveraging this as in between your flow as a feedback loop, you need rich data products, because that's where the real golden value is. Once you have them, build on top, rinse and repeat, have feedback loops, everything just works. Again, because of the connectivity to both sides, you can get in data from one side and then publish or send it to either your warehousing agents or other AI apps or some fancy reporting tool, whatever you want to pick. So it's very clear that future of agentic AI is event-driven, and we as an industry are well situated and well positioned now to take this on. There's a lot of advantage of being event-driven, obviously, extremely efficient. There is being scalable, being decoupled, fast. There's a replayability because the storage is durable, which means you can actually think through, plan, reprocess. That feedback loop, especially in the agentic AI world, is super critical. That's what is helped through the event-driven ecosystem. So just to build this home, the Confluent data streaming platform sits in the middle with the attributes and capabilities of being decoupled, being real-time, cost-effective, scalable, kind of work on different clouds. You can connect through various different sources on the left. Now these sources could be human-generated, machine-generated, or just sample logs. It doesn't matter because ultimately you're picking different sources, connecting through well-defined connectors, and then publishing them through this unified highway or the workflow management. And ultimately they end up on other AI systems or in your warehouses, or maybe there's just a feedback loop for a simple agent to push it back into the streaming platform. Obviously the advantage here now is we are getting highly scalable, governed, well-defined data to flow through the systems. I have the next picture just to show the exact same concept, but purely thinking about agents all the way. So it's agents on the left, agents on the right, and this entire event-driven ecosystem in the middle. Again, it's not just about the technology, it's about building matured, enterprise-grade, scalable products, which means you need the bells and whistles that are required for the governance, for the policy management, for the scaling, for the cost, for telemetry, and all of that. That's where the package is. None of this would be possible unless you work with our partners, and obviously we work with the top cloud providers. AWS has been a fantastic partner for us. This is where we see a lot of co-gen, co-value creation. We also partner with the top AI and other warehousing tools. You have the Databricks, the vector databases, the Snowflakes of the world, along with a few other partners. You can see some examples and war stories from Notion, Reworked, Airy, who have actually built a lot of the AI and agent workflows, already leveraging the Confluent ecosystem. Now, I did say that we are going to talk about an example of how you could think about automating maybe one of the workflows. I'm picking the most common, the most famous SDR workflow. I don't know why, but you drive on coming into San Francisco, all the ads are about how do you automate SDRs. I don't know what those guys did, but somehow this becomes like the top use case to talk about. So here I am talking about that. Very simple, it's a lead gen, pipe gen opportunity, identifying an opportunity, reaching out for a campaign. Just like the rest of the valley, we believe this is going to be replaced with agents who are smart, who are capable of thinking real time. If I had to build this today, I would essentially design it this way. Again, connectors to come from your Salesforce and other places. The data comes in, you classify, you categorize, you feed it to other feedback loops and intelligence systems. On the right-hand side, you see a lot of those general value creation mechanisms that are feeding the data back. We then push to Flink, which can then go make your inferences and intelligent analysis, get the data back. If you need to use Connect, push it out into your campaign management systems, and that's the entire workflow. Again, these are all pieces of technology built on our top cloud providers like AWS, right out of the box, stitch them together, and your agents start working. So I'm going to leave you next with a few quick slides about what's already available. As a developer, as a company, as a founder, you can just go try them out already. Obviously, I'm not covering the entire data streaming offerings, but specific to what's relevant to the agentic AI ecosystem. We have model inference capability in the cloud shipped already. It's ready for trying it out. We partner with the top AI model companies. We also have native support for launching compute with GPUs and certain models natively within the ecosystem. We have connectors for your most famous and common vector databases that you can leverage for your interconnectedness and queryability. Flink on its own natively can support search for the top 3 vector databases, again, mostly for AI workloads. And then we have a few forecasting, decision-making algorithms already pre-baked and built in. And finally, you can do lookups as well as needed. So yeah, at the end of the day, the take-home here really is, we believe agentic AI is going to be event-driven. Data streaming ecosystem and data streaming platform is that new paradigm that will kick it off in the next notch, accelerate it further. And then a lot of the tools, a lot of the technologies that are available out there in the industry at an enterprise grade, as I mentioned, are available for you to go build on top and get done quick. So that's it. That's the talk I had. Thank you so much for the time.